even to get back to sex, imagine navigating your life in a sexual terrain where men don't grow up their entire lives seeing women half naked and half starved and treated like objects and to be demeaned and degraded, so much so that how do you grow up this way and still and you're impaired at your ability to even see women as human beings.
Sunsara Taylor, welcome to Let Them Talk. I wanted to ask you a question and change the subject just a little bit, because we've been talking about the whore. Let's talk about Madonna, motherhood. What is your position on motherhood?
Glad. We're really we do a whole polemic in here. It's about time we get off the cult of motherhood. And there's a way off of, especially off of the 70s, the women's liberation struggle, there was a whole backlash saying, from the Christian fascists, the right wing, Reagan, on down to today, to restore the family and to restore traditional values and to restore motherhood and
like Anita
criminalize abortion.
Type of thing.
What?
Like Anita Bryant.
Yeah, and so in the face of this, there's actually been a lot of stepping back and conceding, even within the women's movement, where increasingly there's a fight for the rights of mothers, as opposed to the rights of women to be full human beings. And I think we have to get beyond the idea that there's something sacred or essential or crowning about being a mother.
Well, I think
it's a biological capacity to bear a child. It's not defining of who you are. And until we get rid of the notion that motherhood is sacred.
Like a deification of mothers and children.
Yeah. Men and women together need to take responsibility for rearing the next generation. There's nothing biologically imperative about a mother-child bond that's different than
now,
adults to children as a whole.
What about, let's talk about in what you call like oppressed nationalities or oppressed groups in America, poor neighborhoods, what we all know as the South Bronx or Bensonhurst, or well, not Bensonhurst, but in Brooklyn or something like that. What do you say to folks who say the family is what it's all about? It's the black family, the Latino family has been the mother, the father, that whole structure has somehow protected folks from the worst.
Well, are you against that whole family structure? Or?
Well, ultimately, we need to transcend the family. But there's a couple things about this. First, this whole business about we need strong families, we need black families, we need black men in their households. This is a big sham, I have to say. Where it is true that oppressed people and black people in particular, for a number of reasons, the massive criminalization of black men, the lack of employment opportunities, the discrimination in these regards, have impaired the ability of people to forge coherent families.
Let's try again.
And that does need to be opposed, but the idea that somehow having intact families would protect black people from the terror of this state and the oppression of this system is a myth, and it didn't protect people under Jim Crow when the family was intact. It misidentifies the source of the problem and ends up blaming black people for their own oppression when it's a system, and it actually turns people towards strengthening their oppression, because all that strong family stuff is really about patriarchy, and it's really about the brutality that goes on in the majority of, the most dangerous place a woman could be among any nationality, anywhere, and of all the places, is in her own home. And that has a lot to do with the actual nature of the family. These are not betrayals of a romantic institution.
So do you say that because...
This is its actual nature spilling out. Even when people come together out of love and a desire to do something better, they often end up taking up roles they never thought they would. The family is structured that way. And the strong family and the strong male head of household and the idea, and people are getting into this, of I'm a submitted woman. This is something that's going on in the black community. People say, I'm a submitted... No, that's slavish. And in fact, black people and all people need emancipation. And they should not be, just like gay people, should not be prevented from forming families. We have to break down the discrimination. They should be definitely the right to, when we have a revolutionary state power, black people will have the right to form families in a way that this system denies them. But the character of families overall is going to be being transformed and challenged to more and more be based on mutual respect and equality. Yes.
Let's take a call. And we get the right button. You're on.
Hello.
How you guys doing tonight?
Hi, got a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that Skinny Watt said your question. I was wondering, you ever dated any black guys?
Okay, I think it's just a crank. Sorry about that. Let's take another call, though. If you come, somebody with a little more intelligence will come and help us out. We're going to try one more time. You're on.
Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Got a comment or a question?
I have a question.
Okay, go.
Go.
I want to know something.
So,
My friend Louis says that women should be in the kitchen and raising babies. So what do you think about that?
Okay, she's
Okay.
going to answer.
I'm gonna shock you here. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and you might find this difficult to believe, but I think that's a bunch of crap. It's like I think this guy who called. What do I have I ever dated a black man like this? I want to just say this actually. It obscures. I mean, besides being insulting and just repeating a bunch of idiocy and sort of slavishness yourself, look, whether or not somebody's saying something that's true depends on whether or not it corresponds to reality, not what my life experience has been. It really is irrelevant. It's either true or not true what I'm saying, and you measure that based on, is the oppression of women natural, or is it something that emerged at a certain point in history? Is it bound up with human nature, or can we overcome it? And frankly, do people like yourselves, if you have any shred of, I will say this is a very big challenge that Bob Avakian, who's the leader of the Revolutionary Communist Party, there's a whole section in here, he's insisted on this since the founding of the Revolutionary Communist Party and advanced this down to today. He says, look, anybody who wants a different world, you cannot break all the chains but one. You cannot be about overcoming the wars of imperialism, the systems of exploitation, the child labor in the sweatshops. You cannot be about ending the massive imprisonment of black people and other oppressed people. You cannot be about ending police brutality and terror and say, oh, but I want to hold on to just a little bit of the chains of this system. And when I come home, I want to be able to lord it over my wife or my girlfriend.
That's
or
kind of
whatever.
like the 60s guys, right?
Yeah, you can't
It's fair to
break
say.
all the chains but one. We either break down all of the relations of exploitation and oppression, or we end up back where we started. And that's why the title is A Declaration for Women's Liberation and the Emancipation of All Humanity. And a very powerful argument is made on both sides that if you want to liberate women, you actually have to make a revolution.
Tell everybody where they can read
Well,
this
can
in
we
more
try
detail.
we're going to take
It's
this
at
last 10 seconds.
revcom.us, revcom.us.
All right, we're going to try just
One
for a
more
second.
try.
All right.
One more time. Hi, you're on. You got a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just have a quick comment. I just wanted to say, cunt.
What?
Well,
We lost
see,
it.
I want to take advantage of this
Right.
to call on anybody who's watching this and
How
finds it
about-
appalling
How about
to
you?
come check out revcom.us.
We
Hi.
got somebody.
Hello?
How are you?
I'm great.
How are your people?
I do want to ask
Who are
people
your
though,
people?
when you listen to the level of callers that we've received,
Right.
it's just an indictment of the world we live in, and the fact that you can't walk down the street without. I mean, we are told that we live in a country like this, women are supposed to have no limits on what they can achieve, and it's not true. And not only are 3 women killed every day in this country by their partners, a woman is beaten every 15 seconds, but just the social relations are poisonous and they're degrading, and we can do better. Humanity can do better, and people should come and check this out, revcom.us. We need a movement for women's liberation as part of a revolutionary movement to emancipate humanity
So
as a whole.
basically, what you're saying is if you're disgusted by the infantile nature of the calls and the sexism inherent in what you heard by some of these callers, then you're the type of person who should get in touch with
Exactly.
Sunsara Taylor right now.
Exactly.
So in a sense, those calls are a great foil for us to then advance a more progressive agenda that hopefully make a better world. Again, we have a minute left. You want to wrap up for us, Sunsara Taylor?
Tell us about the tour. Tell
yeah,
us about...
what do we need to know in the last minute now?
Well, I would again go to revcom.us, Declaration for Women's Liberation and the Emancipation of All Humanity. We need people who are impatient and furious and fed up, and we need people to start speaking up and acting out and joining a revolutionary movement. And if you want humanity to be free, you have to take up the struggle to liberate women. And if you want women to be liberated, you have to come hook up with the
And where
revolutionaries.
can people see you speak? Or they can find it on the website?
You can find it on the website, yes.
All right, great. And
Thanks.
just a final message in the last half a minute. We have 30 seconds. You have free 30 seconds to say what
Imagine a society where you were to walk into, this is a glimpse of it, you were to walk into a cafe, and instead of hearing women spending their creative energies talking about the size of their butts, they were talking about how to solve humanity's greatest problems, global warming, other things. When women are held down and constrained, all of humanity is held back, because you have half of humanity in shackles and their potential being squandered.
Thank you very much, Sunsara Taylor. I'm Paul DeRienzo with Miss Joan Moossy. We'll see you same time, same place next week. Take care. This has been Let Them Talk.